Hey there, and welcome back to Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking keto ice cream, my friend. That's right, sugar-free keto ice cream. And I think you're going to love this recipe, so let's get started. Here's what you'll need to make this delicious ice cream. Starts off with one 14-ounce can of coconut cream. And remember, not cream of coconut, not coconut milk, but coconut cream. 3/4 of a cup, or about 200 milliliters, of heavy whipping cream. 3 tablespoons, or more or less if you like it sweeter or less sweet, of erythritol, or whatever sweetener you like, of course. A teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And 4 egg yolks. As you can imagine with these ingredients, we're going to make a kind of really thick, luscious custard out of this. My coconut cream is some thick stuff here and some liquidy stuff down there. We're just going to combine these really quick with a whisk. And there we have it. Next, we want to combine this with the heavy whipping cream. And the erythritol, or whatever sweetener you're using. Going to mix those together. Let's just beat our egg yolks. I'm going to make a smooth mixture out of that. I'm also going to add just a pinch of salt. Now I'm going to heat this up over medium heat. We don't want the heavy whipping cream to separate, and we just want to dissolve the sugar. And to do that, the quickest way, I'm going to cover it with a lid and keep an eye on it. You want to make sure that you stir it frequently to make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom and that you don't have the heat on too high. I'm just going to keep stirring it and waiting for it to just begin to bubble up around the edges. Now here you can see it's bubbling along the edges here. It's just about to come to a boil. I'm going to turn this off now, and we can combine this with the egg yolks now. To do that, we're going to temper our egg yolks. I'm going to take our hot liquid, and I'm just going to drizzle a little bit in at a time and mix it in with the egg yolks. This is going to keep it from turning them into scrambled eggs, or scrambled egg yolks. And we're just going to warm them up like this a little bit at a time. And after a few additions, you don't have to be quite so careful, and there's no danger of the egg yolks curdling. And we can just pour them into the cream. Once we've combined the egg yolks with the cream, this is going to go back on the stove, where we're going to thicken it up over a medium-low heat. I'm going to keep an eye on this and stir it frequently while it heats up, but not constantly. No need to do that. I'm going to keep the lid on it so it doesn't take all day, and we'll be back. When you notice it starting to come to a boil, like this is starting to simmer, I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. We're going to continue to stir now, constantly, until this thickens up a little bit. You can already see that it's pretty thick, but we want to get that to a smoother, thicker texture. After about 5 minutes, it looks like this. I'm going to turn the heat off because it's nice and hot and bubbling. You can see we've got it to a coating consistency here. It's thick enough to coat a spoon. There we go. Next, I'm going to strain it and into the container I'm going to use to put it in the freezer, so that when it goes in the freezer we have a perfectly smooth, lovely mixture. I'll show you. See down there? Very custardy. You see how it really does have a lovely thickness. Before you do put it in the freezer, you'll want to give it a taste just to make sure it's sweet enough and it has enough vanilla. Oh, that's delicious. Really good. You can always add something at this point, but not later. Next, this is going to go into our freezer. Now, of course, if we just leave it there, it's going to turn into a solid block. We're going to, every hour, get it out and stir it up with a fork to keep that from happening, and so that by the time we want to eat it and it's completely frozen, we can use a scoop and scoop it out, and it'll have the texture that we want. Now, after 2 hours, you can see it really is starting to become, this really is a lot like soft serve with that. And here we are 3 hours later, and here you can see it really is starting to freeze up into, see, that's really very much like soft serve now. And here we are after yet another hour. Give it a stir. Notice it's kind of adhering to the sides. We're going to scrape that off and get it into the middle. And give it a nice stir. And back into the freezer it goes for another hour. Okay, so after stirring and stirring for hours, I left this in the refrigerator overnight because it wasn't quite ready when I wanted it. And so now I've been thawing it for about a half an hour, 40 minutes at room temperature. It's still pretty icy and chunky. So what I'm going to do to smooth it out and to soften it at this point is to put it in the food processor. And here, as you can see, here's the texture we've got. This is really a nice, smooth, soft serve kind of a texture. That's what we want. Now here at this point, you can put it back in the freezer for a little while, or you can serve it right away. I think it's time for a taste. Well, all right, let's give this a taste here. Check it out. It really has a great texture. Oh, and a really great mouthfeel. This is just delicious. I really love that. I think the coconut cream really has an unusual texture and flavor here. It doesn't really taste like coconut. Let's have one more little bite. It's creamy and kind of luxurious. Really delicious and smooth. I can imagine this with some other ingredients in it, like maybe some nuts, some sugar-free chocolate chips, some frozen raspberries or blueberries. That'd be great. Listen, I hope you try this recipe. I also hope that you will like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. It helps my channel grow, and it helps you find my videos, especially if you click on that notifications bell. Thanks for joining us here today at Tin Talk Cooking. We'll catch you next time.